The guys came back later and were like, "You sent us to a brothel."
Like for him giving him
That's a 0 for me, dog.
I like it. It's crazy to, I don't know, see a room full of people and be like, they bought tickets to see us?
Welcome to the Man Overboard podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep.
Underway with the UK tour, Spanish Love Songs. How's it going? How's the tour been so far?
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
4 shows in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've all been great. The response has been great. It's nice to be back out sort of on our own. We haven't toured a headlining tour in the UK ever, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think the first time we were here was technically with Ducking Punches taking us out. And then Hot Water Music, Menzingers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Hot Mulligan. Yeah, this is our first. Wow, we probably should have talked about that.
Was it been like coming over for that first headline tour and selling out a lot of shows? I know that Nottingham and Glasgow were sold out, and I think Leeds is very close to selling out.
Leeds is closed. I think Southampton sold out on the day. I think London is just about sold out. Most of the dates have gone, which is it's insane. It's very cool to see, especially something like Glasgow where you just don't expect it, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, it's sold out. Or Leeds it's a very big venue that we're playing, and so when they're like, yeah, it's low tickets, I'm like, well, what? How?
So does it feel different for you guys to be on a headline tour versus just supporting someone? Has it given you new gratitude for your fans to find out where they actually are based?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy to, I don't know, see a room full of people and be like, they bought tickets to see us? Like they're not, like, I don't know. It's
also nice because I think we have a slightly different fan base than some of the bands we usually tour with. So it's nice to see sort of our fans show up, and then like to see what almost like demographic makes up our fans, and not just demographic like the basic stuff, but like whether they're the type of person who's going to cry at the show or shout at the show or jump at the show or stand in the back with their arms crossed, even though they're enjoying themselves. It's been very fun to see and sort of just like, pick out the person in the crowd and be like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I really love a lot of the Twitter interactions that I see as well, where someone will be like, oh, it's Christmas Day, I'm listening to Spanish Love Songs, now I'm crying, best Christmas ever. And you guys will always retweet it or reply to those.
I love that energy. It's like, interact with us however you want. We're not.
Yeah.
It's weird because we came up in sort of a DIY punk world where you want everybody to jump around and like point the finger back at you. And we've had to really make peace with the fact that we've changed quite a bit. And that's not necessarily where we are or where our fans are. And once we made peace with that, it's kind of been nice.
Yeah. We've had a few crowds of just people like patiently paying attention and are like, are you enjoying this? And they are. They're just like probably in their feelings.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I suppose people enjoy things in different ways.
Yeah,
exactly. My favorite was on the last tour where there was a guy who was just like in the front row the entire time, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? And then you're like, oh, he was weeping the entire time.
Oh, yeah, tears streaming down his face.
Like he was just like holding it together. I guess. And I was just like, yeah, that rules. It's beautiful. I think it's cool to see. It's fun.
Yeah, I suppose as sad as it is for them, for you guys, it's good that the music can get to someone on that deeper level. Like it proves that you're doing something right. Speaking of which, the last album, No Joy, has been out for a little while now.
Yep.
How are you feeling about that? I imagine a lot of the songs on this tour are from that album. What's the reception like?
It's been good. It's been a big focus is playing those songs, obviously, and getting them out. It's weird when you release a record because you want to play every song from it, but the songs probably won't have the biggest impact until a year or two later, just with how people absorb music, I think. But last night was particularly the first show where I was like, oh, every new song people were going off on. So
yeah, people were screaming lyrics back to us, and it felt really cool to know that they...
So would this be the first time that you're playing those songs in the UK?
Some of them. On the last tour we played 5 new songs. And this time we're playing 9 or 10 of the 12 new songs.
So to get a reception that's positive is really
it's
good
huge.
to actually see that it's been listened to and enjoyed.
Especially on some of the deeper cuts that we've just been wanting to play. So it's been nice to get them out and see people enjoying them. And obviously they're a little slower and moodier. Some of the deeper cut ones, and it's nice to see people just like, okay, we can have a moment to breathe in the set and play the slow song, and people won't like check out.
Would you say it's nice to be playing slower songs than like, you know, to vary up what you're playing on stage? Do you have a preference in which songs you prefer playing? Is there a certain song that you guys like the most to play live?
I don't know. I feel like you probably have a favorite song.
I mean, I like the songs that have a little bit more of like a groove to them. Like I like playing Lifers and I like playing Apocalypse and I don't know, stuff that has kind of
Yeah, sort of like a rock and roll groove that I can like old
in
man
between
rock out to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to like throw my body around anymore, but if I can do like some shoulder shrugs while I play guitar, that's, you know,
that's enough.
Throw some boomer bends in and we're good.
I was at the Hot Mulligan show last year,
Yep.
which was fantastic. And it even seemed then like a lot of people knew even some of the newer songs in the crowd, which I was kind of shocked by because it's rare that there's that much of a crossover in terms of like the support band and the main band. But that was great to see. And then the gig took a weird turn, the Leeds one, because I don't know. I would have told you this story at the time, right?
Yeah.
But I was there. You guys were fantastic. Watch Hot Mulligan. They were fantastic. I think they only had 1 or 2 songs left. And a guy just like did a flip off the top half of Stylus. So for context, there's like 2 levels at this venue for anyone listening. And someone just like tried doing a dive into the crowd, but didn't actually let anyone in the crowd know and just landed on his head. And I think he broke the person in the crowd's jaw or arm or something, if I remember correctly.
He hurt somebody pretty severely and he hit his head on the concrete. And
he was out cold.
They had to shut the show down. He was there while we were packing out and loading out.
For quite a while.
I like to with medical assistance.
They were like,
just leave him.
We didn't just leave him.
No. They were people like making sure he didn't get up because he could have a bad neck or head injury or something. So.
You don't move somebody. But I was in the green room and I walked downstairs like, oh.
We're like, don't they have 2 more songs? Like, isn't this?
I was super confused because I was on the top level at the other side and I saw the guy kind of stand on the railing and I thought, what's he going to do? And he just jumped and I was like, oh, and then the gig slowly ended. It was really strange.
Alcohol is bad sometimes.
He wasn't a short person either. He was like a tall person that was a lot of weight to be falling. Like,
he had some girth. He has been banned from shows, I've been told.
He has, which he definitely deserves to be, especially given he hurt someone else as well, not just himself.
Don't do that.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing. If you hurt yourself, it's not great. If you take out others on your way down.
One upside of getting older and playing groovier stuff is that people really don't want to stage dive or crowd surf as much anymore. And it's very nice because I hate it. I don't hate having fun, but there's other ways to have fun without impacting other people. That's a very extreme version. But as somebody who got kicked in the back of the head by crowd surfers a lot growing up, I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, no, rightfully so.
I must admit, it's happened to me once or twice, and it's never a fun one, is it? But one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, there's been a lot of covers from Spanish love songs, right? And I absolutely love the Killers cover, Smile Like You Mean It. I think that is it's a genuine banger. And I had it on and I was like, whoa, genuinely, it's one of the best covers I've ever heard. And I see that a lot online, that people are like, well, actually, this cover is one of the best covers ever. What made you go in that direction and do an EP of cover songs?
A lot of those were from our Patreon that we had just done over the pandemic, and we wanted to just put a little music out before the new album, because the album was done, but we were waiting on a release date and sort of the final pressing and all that stuff. And so we just were like, let's just put something out, and we just picked 4 of our favorite covers that we'd done for the Patreon. The Killers cover is funny because we pretty much just remade the song. Like, we didn't change very much except I screamed a part. That just goes to show you how good that song is. Like, it's just
it was just slightly heavier when I listened to it. There was a bit more grunge to it, which I really enjoyed.
The guitars are a little crunchier. It's funny. A lot of people really enjoyed those covers, and I think as a band we all kind of hate covers. But it's something we started doing just to pass the time, and sort of it's a nice way to flex your chops musically and try something new that you wouldn't do, either a vocal style or finding a keyboard sound we wouldn't normally find or something like that.
So with it being through your Patreon, was it fan suggested covers that they'd said, oh, we want to hear you do this? Or was it songs that you chose and that you kind of had a special relationship with or anything?
Kind of both. We'd do we kind of pick a theme and do a poll. So we'd selected 5 songs and then they'd pick out of those 5. So it was we were always going to cover a song we like, but then what they
pass
like
the choice
the most.
on to
Yeah,
which
we
one.
did that the first year, and then the second year we did covers. We didn't let anybody choose. We did covers of bands that were influencing us. And then the third year we started doing what I called Battle of the Band, where we would pick one song from a band's discography and then make the fans vote from that, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, so from separate bands
so
entirely.
we'd put up like 6 Mountain Goat songs from 6 different albums, and they had to choose which one.
Right,
So
I see.
that way that's the even better way to control what you cover. It's like, we're doing a band I like, and we're probably going to do a song I like, but
I find the Killers one particularly interesting because the Killers are like British icons at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
massive.
I think that one of the only, well, obviously not one of the only, but one of the key American bands that is actually somehow bigger in Britain by
Yeah,
far. I don't
yeah.
know how big they actually are in America. And it was only recently I discovered that they're actually a Christian rock band.
Really?
that might be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, he grew up as a Mormon, I believe.
Yeah, so there's definitely some ties.
Yeah, that's
No,
interesting.
I think it was a self-admitted thing that they were saying if you listen to a lot of the lyrics.
There's a lot of religion
It's something.
in it.
When I found out that fact, I did go back and listen to the
Yeah.
songs, and there's a lot of like part in the seas reference
Yeah,
and this,
yeah.
and you go,
There's-
oh no, there's
a lot of
symbolic
religion
in there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit.
No,
yeah.
definitely. They're still pretty big in America. Yeah. I know that they are iconic here, especially that first album, because that was when they were over here a lot and really mining a British sound for quite a bit. I love it. I love that band. They're one of my favorite bands.
Oh, we saw them at Leeds Fest last year, didn't we? Headline.
Yeah, they were unbelievable.
That was absolutely
That's
fantastic.
insane.
That,
Yeah, that's a
really
yeah,
good
just
stuff.
a very good band.
Yeah.
Speaking of headlining festivals, there's a question we ask everyone who comes on the show, and
Okay.
that is for your dream festival. So we want, it always puts people on the spot. It's a tough question, but we want a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday night headliner. The artist can be dead or alive. It can be whoever you dream up. We
get lots of stuff where we have people making super groups where they've taken people that are dead, put them within a live group, or taken the lead singer of this band and put them with that band.
Sounds a little bit dark when you think of it. Right?
yeah. So we're going to do some necromancy. We're going to get them back to life.
That's hard.
Yeah,
so
it's
much
always a difficult one to put people on the spot with as well, and we
Okay,
tend to
pick
get
a
the same
theme.
reaction of,
Yeah.
We did a episode with a German band called Blackout Problems earlier in the week, and he did like an electronic night, then a rock night, then like a chilled Sunday. Where I think he said the Sunday has to stop at midday because otherwise it's too much. He can't deal with another full day of camping. So
fair.
it's
Yeah.
quite smart.
That's a good idea.
Oh my gosh.
I like how on the spot it is. This is what makes it fun. Friday night. You don't have to. Who's the first headliner you'd think of all time? Greatest band, greatest DJ, greatest whoever.
You can pick Friday night. We'll curate this together.
Okay. Well, I think just because yesterday we were in Glasgow and we were talking about like Scottish bands and stuff, I think I would bring Frightened Rabbit to the headline. Yeah, I would love to see that band again.
That's dark.
I know. Well, they said anyone,
Bring
so
it to life to play a shitty festival.
yeah.
And
Hey, it's my
can't-
festival.
Yeah, it can't be a shitty festival if you're putting it together.
Yeah.
We got the Saturday night now.
Saturday night, let's just do all dead people. Let's bring Prince back on Saturday.
Let's go.
there you go,
Yeah.
there you go, yeah.
I would
mean-
love that.
People who died too young.
Yeah. It's a
All
great
right, Prince
festival.
is back.
Prince is a massive shout, to be fair. He's
Yeah.
unbelievable, isn't he? The
Yeah.
amount of talent that man had. Couldn't he play pretty much every instrument?
Yeah, he
pretty
did.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane when you look at the production. I'm doing a walk-up song that we're messing around with, where I'm chopping up the beginning of "Let's Go Crazy," but putting it with some of our stuff. And I got to hear the isolated tracks from that song, and it's like this motherfucker.
This guy's got it going
Yeah,
on.
and this is like 1984, and it sounds better than anything we've ever done. It's like, damn it. Sunday, dead person that we both agree on.
Who else is dead?
I mean, lots of people are dead.
See, Sunday, people usually want to go out with a big bang, or it's like the chill day.
Jesus Christ. Just kidding.
Do you play guitar? Or
Come on.
It's Jesus.
Just
of
reading
course he can.
Psalms, just reading Psalms for 3 hours.
yeah.
Jesus Christ reading socialist psalms would be actually pretty fire. You know
Sure,
what I
why
mean?
not? Yeah.
It's like
I mean,
burn
that's
down the temple.
the Sundayest of
The
Sundays.
Sundayest of Sundays.
Yeah.
Would you have like a slight lo-fi hip-hop beat in the background whilst he's reading them
Honestly,
off? Kind of
yeah.
do a
That'd
bit
be dope.
spoken
No,
word?
Slayer's playing.
Slayer's playing, yeah.
And for the non-religious crowd, dead person brought back Tom Petty.
Oh,
Also
yeah.
died
That's
young.
a good one.
That's a very good one. Yeah.
And it feels kind of thematically linked.
I'm not sure about the Lincoln, but it's some good headliners for sure.
I could draw the line between those bands.
Yeah. Sure.
It's a varied line.
There's a line
that I could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of other bands, who are some of your guys' biggest inspirations? That's a tough question as well.
Fried Rabbit, Prince, and Tom Petty.
The Killers.
When you were working on the latest album, though, Joy, is there anything that you were regularly listening to? Any albums you had on repeat that probably had a bit of a part in that?
I mean, there's got to be a bunch. I have a whole. Hold on, I have a whole playlist.
I was gonna say
I'm going to get up the Spotify.
there's a lot. Yeah.
I was asked to make a playlist that I have since fallen off of sending to anybody.
Well, this is the opportunity to get it out there. It's been waiting
I
for
was
its time
supposed
to
to do a
shine.
TikTok video about why these things influenced us, and I hate
And
that.
TikTok is-
but
TikTok is a young man's
such
game.
an old man. Let's see. I listened to a lot of the Water Boys while we were doing this. Echo and the Bunnymen.
Wow.
TV on the radio. A lot of M83, Prince,
Oh, I love M83.
Talking
Yeah.
Heads, The National,
Heads,
Frightened
fantastic.
Rabbit, In Excess, Beach House, Death Cab. That new Florence and the Machine record was really good. Fountains of Wayne, always. Sylvan Esso, The War on Drugs, Postal Service, because I'm still 16. Phoenix, Gang of Youths. I feel like that's a good,
I feel like
kind of all over
that
the
covers
place.
the
It covers
yeah.
a lot of stuff that was just kind of on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good number of bands. And M83, do you know how I discovered them? So they were in all the cinemas in the UK. That was this song they played like over the text for
really?
the cinemas, and I was like, "Oh, what's this song?" And then I found out it was M83, and then I continued to listen to the
Kind of
discography.
incredible.
Yeah,
That's one way to
Be
go.
the
about
song
it.
of cinema.
that's an example of how your song appearing in a random place can actually have such a positive impact without you even
Oh
knowing.
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
They're a band too that I think even if you don't know who they are, you've probably heard their songs somewhere.
Definitely, especially if you've been to the cinema in England.
Yeah, they are very cinematic.
There was a Talking Heads mentioned in there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And I think there's some kind, I don't know if you've seen this, A24 Music.
Yeah, they're doing some
they're doing-
re-release of Stop Making Sense.
That's
Oh,
it, yeah,
yeah.
with bands
That's-
doing covers of it. And that,
Yeah.
that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm quite
Yeah,
intrigued by that.
that's man. I would never touch a Talking Heads cover.
I think I saw the Paramore.
Paramore one,
That's
yeah,
it, yeah.
That looked
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah, I
excited
don't.
to hear more.
Yeah,
It's so hard to
fingers
do.
crossed.
I just want to put on the big suit.
Yeah. Also cool.
I wanted to talk about some of the other bands that you've supported throughout the years.
Yeah.
Because I was at a Menzinger's gig back in the day. I know you've supported them.
Yep.
And I went to see them in New York a couple months back, and they're absolutely incredible. I see them kind of touted as like touring heavyweights a lot of the time because
Oh,
they
yeah.
seem to just be constantly around the world. What was it like to tour with those guys?
It was
Great.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a great team. It runs smoothly. They're obviously veterans at it at this point. I mean, we toured with them in 2020. We have a lot of mutual friends. We hadn't toured together yet, so it made sense.
Yeah.
It was a blast. Yeah, I love. Can't say a
Yeah.
bad thing about that.
Yeah,
Like,
they were all nice people and their team great. Showed us how like easy and smooth a tour could run,
Yeah.
kind of. Like we
Yeah.
were watching them and it's just like, yeah, well-oiled machine. It's just like, oh, touring can be so easy.
It can be easy if you have the right people, which is
Yeah.
nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, touring for us is pretty boring because we're like pretty low key and quiet and stay out of the way. To the point where one time Chuck Reagan was like, talked to our agent after we did the Hot Water Music Tour. He's like, yeah, they were nice. They were just very quiet. And we're like, yeah, because it's your tour. We're not here to be in your way.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
want to stay out of your
We
way.
just want to
Steal the limelight.
He's like, yeah, they should hang more. And we're just like, oh, okay, Chuck.
We didn't want to
Yes,
bother
sir. Yes, Dad. We will hang out more. No, I think Menzingers are great. We've never gone on a tour with anybody that we would call like dicks or talk shit about.
I'm waiting for that day where we ask someone that question and they go, no, actually, they were proper idiots.
If somebody was actually rude or had done something like objectionable, I would have zero problem saying like "fuck you." But no, I think we've tried to make it a point to not work with assholes, and like the people we work with know that we don't want to work with assholes. So I think we typically are able to avoid that. I can't think of a single situation where we've met even bigger bands. I mean, we did a few shows with Rise Against, and they were like the nicest people, and their team was amazing. Hot Water was great. Menzingers, Wonder Years, we've done 2 very significantly length tours with, and they're just the sweetest people. And
So
they have,
nice. The coolest guys.
I think if you
Yeah.
surround yourself with people who don't suck and you inherently don't suck, then you'll have a hard time making life difficult for people, which is like a very cool thing. Even if you suck, actually, if you surround yourself with people who don't, you can probably shield yourself.
Bring yourself up a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I think it's hard to remember in the like digital age sometimes. I mentioned the digital age a lot on the podcast, but like internet era, it makes it seem like everyone in the world's a dickhead, but that's not actually the case. Like most people are actually completely fine. And you don't actually get that many negative encounters unless, as you say, you're kind of looking out for them a little bit.
Especially if you're I feel like we're in a similar scene of people who sort of all are fighting for somewhat of a same thing in the space that we exist in. And that helps a lot as some sort of common goal for creating a safe, enjoyable concert going experience. I'm sure we'll encounter some dickheads. We've definitely played some festivals where we walked by people and been like, oh, that's an attitude you really want to take me right now. But like nothing outrageous.
Well, speaking of years of touring and been on the road, is there any funny stories that stand out during that time? Some people, we get some tame ones, and then some people will tell us like the wildest stuff that's ever happened. So, I mean, it's up to you how dark it can be, if there is any. I mean, you say you keep it pretty relaxed.
Yeah. We're all old. That's the thing.
What about back in the younger days?
I'm trying to think of even in the...
When we started touring, I had just turned 30. So we've never had the younger days for this. I mean, we've definitely had some wild times, I guess, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what's the dumbest thing that somebody's done.
We had Brendan from Wildest getting caught up in a shootout. He told us about that last week.
No, that's horrible. I would never want that. I would never want that.
With his trousers down, nonetheless.
Oh no!
A very strange situation.
No, we've never had anything like that. I'm trying to think of like. I don't even know the worst stories.
I don't know.
There doesn't have to be a worst story. Maybe
we're very boring. Like
just like funny things will happen, but nothing like I don't know. Like last time we were in Manchester, someone tried to keep getting in the trailer because they thought I was their taxi, and I was like, no. I'm just like, there's just stupid stuff like that. Keeps happening.
There's a lot of dumb stuff like people in a. People almost getting sick on stage and like rushing off stage so they don't.
That was also me. Well, actually,
vomit.
And you
that was me
time.
last tour. I almost threw up on stage. That's maybe the funniest thing that's happened to me personally.
All had moments where we like, as soon as we're off stage, we have to like
run and vomit,
go do something in the bathroom really quickly.
We were playing in Belgium on the end of the Hot Mulligan tour, and we got like, I felt fine all day. We had 2 songs into the set. And just like that cold sickness washed over me.
Yeah.
And I looked at Mary and I went, I'm sick.
Yeah.
She was like, oh no. And I made it through most of the set and I was like,
we can't wait.
I got this. And then we finished Losers. And it was our second to last song. I said, thanks, we've been Spanish Love Songs. And I ran off stage. And it was also Trevor's last show with us, but nobody knew yet.
Yeah, so it was like...
And he was like, oh, cool.
That was
great last show for me.
Yeah,
and I was
that
like,
sucked.
Sorry, dude. I did not want to projectile vomit on the front row of fans. Yeah. It's a lot of stuff like that and stuff that's kind of boring.
Yeah, I think all the craziest stuff involves other bands, and I don't want to out anyone else.
That's fair.
So.
Tell them all right now.
There is my favorite story that we do tell a lot, and it was completely just a complete misunderstanding, is we were in Austria once. I was sick. I had mono, of all things. We got done playing a festival. You and I went back to the hotel because I was not feeling well. And the band and our friends in another band were looking for a bar to go to. Mm-hmm. And you were like, oh, there's a bar right next door to the hotel, you guys. Just pop on in. That'll be great.
Yeah, I saw just down the road like a neon sign I don't know if it was like a beer neon sign or what. Didn't know. Another country. I was like, yeah, it looks like a bar. It's down the street.
And we weren't there because I went to bed and you were on your phone or something. But the guys came back later and were like, you sent us to a brothel.
Oops.
And we were like very confused at first. And then all of a sudden, like, the brothel thing started and they were like wanting payment. And we were like, oh, we just wanted a drink.
This isn't what we thought it was.
We've done that. It's usually bar situations. Or Ruben. Yeah, just sending people into strange bars and having strange experiences is usually
very confused at first. Ended up spending $4,000.
I mean, I wasn't there, but no shame in that game if you want to. But
Yeah, that's probably maybe that's the craziest thing.
Yeah, I think that
was
the
like
funniest.
directly my fault.
That or Ruben going, us trying to find a bar to drink in Cologne, and me and the German guy who were wandering, knowing full well that everybody just pointed a gay bar they wanted to go into. And we're like, yeah, that's fine. Let's go have a drink. And then Ruben went in first, and it was a very late night there, and he was like, somebody had their dick out on the bar.
Ruben like, walked in, walked out.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know, a cocktail.
So if that's not what you're into, don't go to Viaduct or New Penny tonight because it's game over.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But
I wanted to German bar.
Yeah. They're free
you're
there.
always running a risk.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, traveling across the world, and you've been to lots of different countries now. I wanted to, like, know what you thought of the different crowds in different countries.
Yeah.
Whether, because we have a lot of guests where we do ask about UK crowds in particular, and they tend to say that our crowds tend to be a bit more rambunctious, maybe a bit more lively than other places. But then we've also heard that in Europe, they can go pretty crazy over there as well. So I know it's not really your vibe for people to go crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We have opinions on audiences for sure.
Yeah.
That's maybe the one thing we do have.
You got a ranking on the bus.
yeah, moving them around.
So like UK crowds will be drunk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
Scottish crowds will be unintelligible in the best way. Yeah. There were so many things shouted last night, and I was like, I have no idea what you said to me.
I hope it's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Belgian crowds are very boring.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's a polite thing or they just don't enjoy fun, but they'll just sit like,
arms
entire
folded,
show.
dead eyes.
and you're like, are you enjoying yourself? And I'm like, I mean, you paid to be here, so I hope so.
Yeah.
German crowds will be mean to you without knowing it,
Yeah.
which we've all heard.
Yeah,
German
they're
honesty.
They're also pretty. They're not super rowdy. They'll also be pretty quiet and just kind of stare at you and wait for you to play the next song, and then tell you afterwards some sort of backhanded compliment.
Yeah. I know exactly what you
you're
mean.
okay, but your album is better. It was like, oh, thanks.
Yeah,
And they're like,
I wish you played more old stuff because
Yeah,
I like that more.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, see you next time, and I'll be like, okay.
Yeah,
That was a
but
good
they always
thing.
show up. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
the thing is just like none of these all sound like we're being mean, but
Yeah.
this is just like our
It's just an observation.
Yeah.
observation.
no,
Yeah.
we still
Everybody's still
yeah.
there and having a great time. It is just funny.
Yeah.
Australian crowds will shout at you nonstop.
Yeah.
It's great. This is very generalizing. We probably shouldn't generalize. People, but
This is
we've
from our
already gone this
experience.
far.
Yeah.
You should have started going city by city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leeds crowds
I'm just
are the
regretting
worst.
the last 5 minutes. I talked about a dick on a bar, and now I'm talking about generalizing people. It's fine. No, all I wanted when we were in Australia is for somebody to shout, play the song, you cunt. And they did. And I was very happy because my friend said that was going to happen. And then American audiences, I mean, it just varies by region.
Yeah. I would say
Some cities are too cool. This is the thing. It's also not just like a country by country. It's a city by city thing.
Yeah.
So like,
in the U.S. it'll surprise you. Like Nashville, really kind of boring crowds for Music City. I'm just saying it. It's pretty like they're the Belgium of America.
Right, yeah.
And then
Silently appreciating.
Yeah, and then like some depends on the place you're playing, but like LA sometimes a little too cool. Sorry, LA, we get it. And then New York pops off. Like New York is always great. Chicago is always great.
but some people have the opposite experience where they're
Yeah.
like, New York is too cool for us.
yeah, and
Like,
then
they
LA
just don't
goes
wanna-
crazy for them. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah. All we really care about is how much merch you buy. So.
So everyone get online, buy a t-shirt right now. What do you think of British drinking culture in comparison to other countries? Because I saw you were drinking dark fruits at Weatherspoons at noon already.
That was a treat.
Join the
That
culture.
was a treat.
That was a
So I'm
treat.
just saying that sounds very British. What do you
Yeah.
think it's like over here in comparison to other countries? And maybe the US in
You
particular.
guys just, I remember
love
this. I enjoy it quite a bit. But the first time I came here, we met up with a friend. We were waiting for the rest of the band to arrive, and we went to the pub at like noon, and the band wasn't getting in until 6. He's like, yeah, we'll just wait at the pub for the band. I was like,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do for fucking 6 hours? He's like, we're gonna drink.
Have a pint. Yeah.
We're gonna have a pint. And I was just like, okay. Yeah, I love it. You just sit around and drink and smoke a dart.
Yeah.
Not me. No, it's great. It's a lot of fun. It probably we were leaving the other night from the show in Nottingham when there was a club night after our show, which I hate anyways, because like having to load out in 10 minutes so that an empty room can have a DJ in it for an hour makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. But British drinking culture is very endearing from like noon to 7. Then from like 8 to midnight, it's kind of dark and scary.
Yeah. That's kind of when you want to move away from the places that you're out.
And I don't understand how anybody survives in it.
You can watch the whole thing happen at Spoons. You wake up, you go to Spoons breakfast. There's just a couple of older people having a pint, eating their eggs, and then as the day goes on, you see 19-year-olds who are plastered, and you're like, wow, okay, I'm gonna go home now.
That was quick.
We've shut down a few Spoons in our day.
And the morning versus night crowd is very different.
Yes.
Weatherspoons is such a British institution.
It really is.
Absolutely love it. Like, no matter, you're completely right. I'll go in there at 10:30 for a breakfast, and there'll be an old British man with a pint of Guinness or Tetley's, something really like a proper English pint. And it's a weird one. And I've kind of not done it as much. I'm getting a little bit too old for it myself now. But in like gigs gone by, there's been times where I'll remember the support band, try and neck a few drinks in between them and the main act, and then don't even remember the main act because it's been like there was the thing that tipped me over the edge. What's the wildest crowd you've ever had? Is there any gig that stands out where it was like people mosh pit into songs they shouldn't be, people going a little bit too mental? Surely that's happened a couple of times.
The one that pops into my head is we played a festival in Zurich called Obernusa, and we played in this like basement venue, and it was maybe like a 200 cap, and it was just wall to wall, and we're on like these tiny pedal boards, rented gear. The crowd is just like losing their shit, falling onto the stage, spilling beers everywhere. And I like yelled at them, and I was like, hey, like if you break this shit, the show's over. So stop, like calm the fuck down. And they got really mad at me, and they didn't buy any merch, and they just sat there the rest of the show just like staring at us like, well, fine. You guys want us to calm down? We'll be so fucking boring. And I was like, I don't know, like be safe.
That's
there's a contract in place of like respecting each other and respecting the band on stage. Going off in a positive way, I don't know. Last night was pretty wild.
Last night was great, yeah.
I just want you to stand and sing. I don't want you to like do what you want, but I'd rather you like dance nice with each other rather than go crazy.
Yeah, I think the point you're making, that if you're gonna have fun, don't let it affect somebody else.
Yeah, don't put your shit onto somebody else. That's our biggest thing. That's like our approach to life. It's like don't negatively impact somebody else's life. If you want to positively impact their life, great. But don't put yourself ahead of anybody else in terms of having fun. We're playing a venue on this tour in Germany, Oedinger Villa, where the last time we played, somebody had their ankle broken, the second to last song. In a mosh pit that got a little out of hand. And he's like, well, I was in it. I was having fun. It's my fault. And I was like, yeah, but
I mean, better that than someone else. Than being like, someone
than a man jumping
ankle.
Off the rafters.
Someone decided they could fly.
And honestly, that's maybe the craziest thing that's ever happened at one of our shows. We weren't on stage, so it wasn't really our thing. The Hot Mulligan fans have a lot of fun. They're very young and very eager to let out their energy.
I think that helped definitely for your set at that gig as well, though. There was a lot of energy in the room for that, like 1,000,000%.
But we were there to like calm people down before the chaos.
Okay.
You were the lullabies beforehand, and then
we know very well, like when we're placed on a bill, we kind of come in as what's the opposite of a fluffer? We want to cause emotional impotency. Like that's what we're trying to do. Just like break your spirits before any fun is had.
Mosh pits are always dangerous for the ankles. A couple of years back, we went to see Green Day on the Hella Mega Tour, and what they'd done is it was at a football stadium in England, and it had rained. So it was a metal sheet just over the pitch. I got in a couple of mosh pits and went over one time. My ankle was gone. I got home, when I woke up the next day, it was like the size of a baseball, like on the side. And then I looked about a week later, because I was just looking on YouTube for people videoing the gig. and I found the video of someone was videoing Green Day and me falling over in the mosh pit. So I managed to actually find it on YouTube, which was a super proud moment.
That's great.
There was another good moment in that, which was shortly after Green Day went off the stage, Joe then turned to me and goes, I can't believe they didn't do Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And I was like, they did.
They did.
You sung it.
I don't think there's any need to call me out for that.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. The problem was, it's like you were saying though, it wasn't just Green Day, it was Weezer, Fall Out Boy, Green Day. So
too many drinks.
That's a huge story.
We started drinking in the taxi on the way there at like 12 a.m.
I fully, it's funny, being in a band like ruins that half of show going for me now, because I don't really go to shows like that anymore. But before we were touring consistently, I used to love not drinking a ton, but we would like eat an edible.
Yeah, you'd like pregame the show and then
I have a very fond memory of you and I at a Jeff Rosenstock show in like 2016 in LA where we ate an edible. And in the middle of the set, you looked at me and you're like, I have to pee, but I can't make it there because it was so crowded.
Too strong. And that venue is not big, but I remember standing there at the back of the venue and like, it felt like the room just like stretched out and like so far. And I was like, I'll never make it.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
I'm planted here for the rest of this show.
I still like to have like a few too many drinks and go to like an electronic show, like a Sylvan Esso show. We did that in Amsterdam recently.
Sylvan Esso and Nation of Language, both like little dance parties. It was great.
That's always fun.
There's definitely artists that kind of, being in an altered mind state definitely amplifies the live experience of the music.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, listen, being fucked up is like, it feels good. I understand. So like, please, I mean, do it.
If you have a few drinks, loosen up, makes you want to dance. And I mean, it's nice energy. So as long as,
we love dancing.
Fun,
that's the thing. I love dancing. I don't necessarily love.
As long as you're not fighting.
Exactly.
So I love dancing. I'm not very good at it, but I love dancing.
I love
Well, that's the thing. Is like,
once you've had
if we all agree,
drinks,
but if we all agree that we all suck at dancing,
then
we're all going to be a little tipsy and we're just going to like sway
it.
next to each other very gently while we cry. Like that's the dream.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I joked when we were writing the album, I was like, I want people to cry on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so much sort of like dance influence on the new album too.
Good song title.
I feel like, I was about to say
There's an Ultravox song called Dancing with Tears in My Eyes. Which is,
it's a bit close.
It's also just an
Great
iconic song. Yeah.
I've been thinking of every funny mosh pit story that's ever happened in my life now.
They all popped into your head at once.
I went to see Stand Atlantic once, and it was just someone I'd just become friends with. Like I've maybe only met him about 6 or 7 times, and I was like, he'd never been in a mosh pit before. I was like, you got to come get in one mosh pit in your life, it'll be fun. Got him to come in the mosh pit. Decked it straight away and actually broke his ankle. Had to go to A&E and everything. Oh, no. But it was literally my doing. We'd had loads to drink and I was like, come on, you've got to do it. You've never been in one. And then within 10 seconds, he'd broke his ankle.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I grew up with I grew up in Southern California. I started going to shows in like the early 2000s when there was a huge kind of hardcore scene, like Throwdown and Bleeding Through and like these types of bands. And we had this one venue called the Showcase Theater. And it was always violent. Like people would just go and like want to fight in a mosh pit. And I was like a 6'5" teen who looked like he could fight because I was tall.
Yeah.
So I always had people starting shit with me. And I've just had like bad experience. So like that led into, and then there's stories of like in my 20s, people would keep the same shit up and like try to like stomp around the pit. And I would just be like, boink, and throw them and they'd like go. And I'm like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? Or like people bleeding and jumping off the stage and landing on my friend and he's getting streaked in other person's blood. And I'm just like, what are we doing? I don't have any good memories of a mosh pit, like having fun. I'm just like, no, everything was violent and people tried to fight all the time.
I was gonna say the only one time I've had I suppose you could put it as a positive mosh pit experience was seeing The Offspring at Download. And there was a whole pit going on. I was wearing my big boots, like the fiery ones with all that on it. And it was really muddy. So halfway through one of the songs, I was in the middle of the pit. My boot just came off in the mud.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, what the hell do I do? And everybody noticed in the pit, though, and everyone just put their hands up and stopped.
That's great.
I got my boot back on, went like that. Everyone just started again.
It was
such a nice experience.
That communal experience is very enticing.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody falls down, pick them up. And I love seeing that shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, that's why we're all here. Mm-hmm. I just never had that.
Just never got to
I think if I fell, people are like, "Fuck, that guy's too big."
That's
Good luck,
it, yeah.
buddy.
Same reason I can never stage dive. Maybe I'm just mad. Nobody else can have fun because I can't.
The angry old man meme where you see Party of the Clouds.
Since I was 15.
Right, to finish things off, it's something we've never done on a pod before, and it's because you're the first American guest we've had in person, right?
Who?
So I wanted to try something where I've got some British snacks.
Oh,
And
I love this.
You might have already tried them, so if you have, just say, you don't have to fake it, right? But I thought you might be able to try them and give them a rating 1 through 10. So
We love
these are-
food-based podcasts.
I literally
This
joked
is-
last night. I hope we get to eat food. Like,
we got-
rating
There you
things.
go.
These are particularly English. We've got
Yeah.
Monster Munch pickled onion,
Okay.
right?
It's an institute.
And then we've got knickknacks, nice and spicy.
Okay.
So they're not actually spicy. They're more just a little bit, like a bit paprika, if anything.
Okay.
And then I've actually got a leftover Christmas selection box because I know it's got loads of different chocolate bars in, which I think you might not have tried.
I'm so excited.
So we've got,
yeah.
this is my personal favourite, a double decker.
Okay.
It's like biscuit, chocolate, and nugget type thing.
Yep.
Like Dairy Milk's just normal chocolate, but if anything else, I'd say try the Whisper. It's like Dairy Milk chocolate with bubbles. It's kind of like Aero,
Okay,
similar to
Aero,
Aero, but
okay.
a little bit better. So I'd say those are the best. Would you agree, Tim?
I would
Those are
agree.
the-
Out of yeah,
It's better-
maybe
that's
a
just
crunchy.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Maybe a
Should we swap the
crunchy.
Whisper for the
I
crunchy?
reckon. All
right.
I reckon.
I will.
That's the selection.
I'm gonna like. I feel like. Dylan,
I feel like I'm going to absolutely hate this.
Dylan doesn't.
Oh.
This is definitely. Pickled,
Open it up. I wanna
pickled
smell it.
anything
Yeah.
is not.
Yeah.
I'm not a big
No, it's
pickle
okay.
guy.
Yeah, if anyone's listening now, just be
Yeah.
prepared for noise.
Sorry
This
for
is
the,
for the
like-
video watchers.
My misophonia.
Like ASMR.
Yeah, start moving against the
I
man.
mean, it smells quite pickled.
You try it and tell me.
I
if
don't think that they're that. So I don't
They're not-
like pickled onions themselves,
I feel like
but
I
I like
have
the crisps.
to. Yeah.
That's like an okay mid.
Yeah, that was an all right response.
That was my like for him giving him.
Whoa. That's a 0 for me, dog.
I like it.
He's out. He's out straight
I
away.
eat with my nose first and foremost. And,
He's not a vinegar.
I'm not a
person.
vinegar guy. I'm so
I
sorry.
think it tastes like a nice like. Better, like not as like painful salt and vinegar. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's really good.
I think it's
I
like a
the
tomatoey salt and vinegar type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
An interesting.
and the texture is nice.
Guys are killing
Those
me.
are. Do you know Steve-O?
Yes.
They are his favourite crisps in the world. So
Really?
much to the point that he now has a tattoo of the monster on the front of the bag on his thigh. He's that obsessed with them.
That's awesome.
There is also a beef flavour and a spicy flavour of them, so maybe
So-
give them
I
a go.
would say
Beef,
do,
I would
yeah,
rock.
I do love the packaging and the weird shape. They are
Yeah.
truly
Yeah.
unique.
Not sure if they're supposed to be claws or whether it's supposed to be a little
is it his
monster
teeth? I
upside
don't
down.
know.
There's lots of questions.
Are
Are
you
they-
eating
I
other
don't know.
monsters? Oh, my hand smells like it now.
Did you even touch it?
Yeah, I smell.
All right, I'm gonna eat the savory.
She's a
ones.
big
You
savory
can
person.
eat
No,
this
I want to try a
chocolate
bite of these
one. Okay.
knickknacks.
Yeah, they're definitely not very pickled.
Yeah.
They're a weird
hope
shape as well. It was such a tough choice in the shop for me. I was like, what are the most British crisps?
Which, yeah.
Okay, this feels like a Cheeto.
It's
Yes,
similar.
Yeah.
Texture
Ooh,
which you don't,
paprika?
It also tastes like
Pepper?
tomato to me. It's definitely spicy in a British sense.
It tastes almost like
yeah.
ketchup-y.
Yeah.
It tastes like an all dressed.
Yeah, kind of like an all dressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no
good.
idea what that is.
Canada
Canadian.
has.
It's like they're
They put everything on
They
it.
pretty much it's like barbecue, salt and vinegar, and like all the other flavors. It's like
Oh, I think I've had one of those in like wrap snacks, I think they're called, or something like that.
Probably-
It was-
oh, yeah. They
it was
do, yeah.
Yeah.
they're
Still only like
really
a 4
good.
for me
Yeah.
though.
You're gonna get rated.
So
for?
they
Oh,
0, 4
For me, it's just out of 10.
out of 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do
out of
10.
10.
I would give these.
Monster Munch get.
I'd give these an 8. I'd pick these
Damn.
up.
Well,
I would.
yeah.
I'm probably gonna take these with me.
Yeah.
And then these I would give a 6. They're okay. They're not my
Okay.
favorite.
Okay.
They're like
Fair enough. Fair
I'm
enough.
being very.
I think the
Very
public would agree with you. The public would agree with you on
Okay.
that point.
Yeah.
Monster Munch are much more adhered in the
Yeah.
British public.
Yeah,
These
they-
might even be a 9. I think the texture is really good.
Yes.
They're fantastic. Melt in your mouth. They just
Yeah.
explode. Yeah, fantastic crisps.
I want to look for the beef ones now.
Yeah.
Gross.
So we've got the chocolate.
Going
the
to my
chocolate remains.
specialty.
I have to clear my palate.
Yeah, we got to be pro about this.
Everyone's just taking a sip at the
Yeah.
same. I'm doing it. I'm not even eating anything.
I thought it was worthwhile.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I'll,
guys-
I'll donate these to the group, but
All right, what should we start with? Crunchy or double decker?
I'd probably start with the crunchy because the double decker's a bit chewy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So crunchy. Oh, sorry.
it's
Sorry,
honeycomb.
misophonies.
yeah.
What do you call somebody with misophonia?
Misophony. I don't know.
Misophonic?
A mesophone?
Misophonies.
Misophone.
Maybe.
Yeah.
As I'm like, what do you call something? I'm so sorry.
It doesn't
or
matter 'cause
am I?
they're not listening.
Yeah, they've
If
given
you
up.
want to deal with misophonia, you should sleep in our bus.
Oh my god.
A chorus of snores every night.
Chip chewing and.
Chip chewing and snores or something
Or
going.
sorry, crisp chewing.
All right.
I don't know why it feels like
crunchy.
we've made these snacks because I'm like, oh, I hope they like
Yeah,
it.
me too. I'm excited.
I've had these. And
Oh, have you?
And I like them.
They're really good.
Fantastic. Absolutely
Honeycrisp,
amazing.
right?
Yeah,
Honeycomb.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a 10.
They're lovely.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
it's a 10.
that's
Straight
10.
away. Come
There's
on.
a-
Come on.
There's an ice cream
like-
shop
yeah.
in LA called Magpies, and they do vegan ice cream, and they do a vegan honeycomb that they put on top of it. And it's the same.
It's just like this, and it's
like
so
honeycomb
good.
and ice
Yeah.
cream is like such a perfect bite.
I bet that's so good.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good.
If you're ever in LA, check it out. It's called Magpies.
Magpies, they're so good.
I'll take that if I don't want it. Somebody was trying to say to me the other day that, was it you? That British chocolate is better than Belgian chocolate.
I think it is.
I think that's a hot take.
mean,
I think
that
they're
is a
both
very
very,
hot
good.
take.
They're both
Yeah.
very good.
I'd say better than American chocolate.
Yeah,
I'd do
everything's
that
better
hands
than
down.
American
Yeah,
chocolate.
if you can even call it chocolate at that point.
But I mean, I fuck with British chocolate. I also
Yeah.
fuck with Belgian. I
just
like
like
I love all of
snacks.
it. Yeah.
I feel like the problem is Belgian chocolate over here is usually quite expensive, so I always take that into account. Am I going to pay double? Is it better?
And it's not-
Is it that much
That's
better?
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Cadbury is
Cadbury's is
great.
pretty elite, as
Cadbury's
is
is
Galaxy.
good.
as well.
Cadbury's better for just eating a vast amount of it, whereas Belgian chocolate's nice to have in little bits, and you go, oh, I'll have one of
Sure.
those.
I
and
also
one of
I
those.
fuck
Yeah.
on Bounty bars,
Oh, I hate them.
Oh no, I love
You
them.
don't?
mate.
Not a coconut person?
Nah, not at all.
Oh, no, they're
Lions
good.
bars.
I like a lion.
Lion bars
Lions
are
are
good.
good.
Yeah,
However.
Lions are
Yeah.
really good.
or
So we
lion.
made a beer in the States because a Bounty bar is similar to an Almond Joy, and we made a beer or a Mounds. We made a beer that was called No Joy, and it was an Almond Joy minus the almonds. So it was just like a coconut beer, and it was
chocolate and coconut. You
amazing.
might
You
not
would
like
hate
it.
I like beer and I like chocolate, so I could probably drink it.
2 out of
was-
3. 2 out of 3.
It was pretty coconut. We made one for Brave Faces too that was like chocolate and or it was peanut butter and coffee.
Oh.
That one you might like.
That one would have been better. Yeah.
I love double deckers.
So
Top tier. for
I
me.
would say out of all of the UK chocolate bars, Double Decker, maybe the Boost as well, are the closest to what you could have instead of a meal. Like you could just have that bar. If you were in a rush or something like that, you could just throw that down you.
what do we got in here? It's
It's like nugget and then biscuit with chocolate round.
Are Charleston chews a thing? Have you ever?
No,
had
I've had one though, and they rip my teeth out.
This feels like a
softer
This feels like a Charleston chew stacked on top of a like a crunch bar.
crunch bar.
Or no, like $100,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. I like it. Also,
Yeah.
also a 10. I would
But
eat
also
this.
similar like a
Yeah.
Three Musketeers
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
but-
heard that
kind
before.
of whipped texture.
But more
The,
Charleston.
the
chewy.
nougat, as you guys
But
call it.
Because it's dense, it's like a Charleston chew.
Yeah. No, it's good.
I love it.
I like them all.
I'll eat.
This is the thing.
I'll pick that up at
So
a restaurant
ratings
now.
for both chocolate bars.
I mean, these are both 10s. Like,
Both
what's,
10s.
what's not
Straight
to
out the
love?
gate.
I don't think
Straight
there's
out
a
the
single
gate.
Cadbury I've ever eaten where I'm like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Cherry
those
cordials are great.
Yeah.
That's a bar, right?
I don't know.
Cherries. Isn't there like a
just-
cherry
I'm just like-
Cadbury
Oh,
one?
where it's got
general.
like cherry kind of juice inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
It's-
yeah, those are good.
Those are good.
I
We
feel
had
like-
some the other day. The what was it? It had like little. What did Emma give us the other day?
Emma gave us the one that has like it's like the chocolate orange, but or chocolate or like the Cadbury cream egg, but like as a bar.
In a bar,
now.
yes,
yeah,
that's
that was
so
good.
good.
That is
That's
good.
fantastic. I think it's always
That was
interesting where our Mars isn't the same as your Mars. I don't think. And
No,
your
our Mars
your-
sucks.
Your
Our
Milky
Mars
Way
is-
is our Mars, and our Milky Way is your Mars, or something like
Okay,
that. There's
I don't
like
even know
a
if we
mixture
have
between
Mars.
the two.
We still have Mars. They're kind of. I always associate Mars with British culture in America.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Because I think they call it like British something.
probably.
Probably a good way to sell it to people. I think, oh, it's,
It's
British,
British.
chocolate. Oh yeah, we'll go
British.
buy that. Yeah,
Nah, in the States, I think I just try to stick to M&M's.
yeah,
So M&M's are pretty
yeah.
good.
M&Ms are elite.
But English
anyway.
chocolate wins again, which
It-
we love to see. You know what? I was actually
Yeah.
offended. I was flying back from LA a couple months ago. I was just out on holiday.
Yeah.
And this is a random note. I mean, this is probably going to be the last remark of the podcast as well. Just something that offended me about LA.
That's fair. We can go.
In the airport, there was a British flag like for the languages, it had all the languages, and it said American next to it. And I thought, what's going on there?
Hang on.
That's funny.
That's really funny.
It was weird.
Wait, what?
I know. It was like as if to say like
Was
English
it for
on
the passport line?
It was. I don't know. Just all the languages.
You speak American? Is that?
Yeah, I was like.
I mean, American English is a definite thing.
But would you
it's
say
not a
if you were somewhere else, would you say I speak American or I speak English?
I would say you speak English.
Yeah.
Where am I?
Belgium.
I speak English.
What?
Yeah.
But we do know Belgian people who would say you speak American English.
Well, if you're in
because your
Mexico.
accent.
Right, yeah.
In Mexico, you speak English
Oh, okay.
because there's no differentiation.
yeah.
But like here or like Belgium or like anybody, because we have a friend who teaches English in Belgium, and she teaches to her students with a British accent, but she talks with like a Belgian American accent.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but she has to teach in like a British English
So
accent.
do all of our students then pick up that British
That's
English?
why.
Right,
Yeah.
I see, yeah.
But
yeah,
through
yeah.
the lens of like a Belgian voice. I don't know. It's very weird. Like it's
Yeah.
fascinating to me. Same way that like there's different sign languages and stuff. Like
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah.
BSL.
we don't need to go.
ASL,
Yeah,
and
BSL.
we could go-
ASL, yeah, we don't need to go to ASL. But yeah, no, that is.
That's
I don't know what
dumb.
that signs for.
Yeah.
Though. That is. I mean, there's a lot in LA to offend you. If that's the one thing that offended you, then like sounds like a good trip.
Don't go listen to the episode about America. It was-
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's okay.
stories.
But no, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We've
Great. Love to be
absolutely-
the first Americans here. This rules.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and you gave us food, which is like our
Yeah.
favorite thing to do.
Thank you.
You can take the Monster Munch home, 100%.
Take
but
it all.
we'll see you at the show on Friday.
Perfect.
I'm really looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
thanks guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.